All right, we are live on YouTube. UB2B. Okay, man. Want to see if anybody's going to show up tonight. All right, I just got a notification through YouTube. We are on YouTube. Finally. All right, morning, guys, or afternoon or evening. Back over to my comments here. Sitting there waiting on you guys. Got a few people on there already. Say hi to me. Make sure everything's working. It's first time on YouTube, guys. So switched over from Facebook to YouTube. There you go. Trapper Dan's on there. Hey, man. What is it? Yokalope? I guess that's it. Hey, how you doing? Yeah, we're good, man. We got over to YouTube. There's Gary. I see Gary up there. Jonathan Frisbee. Yeah, new venue, man. My brother's been bugging me to death to switch over to YouTube because I get credited with watch hours on YouTube going through my channel than I don't on Facebook. And I'm trying to get monetized on YouTube for my videos, and this will help me out. That's the reason behind this. I could do YouTube and Facebook at the same time, but that's a monthly fee, like $12 a month, and I didn't want to do that right now. So that's why I'm switching everything back over to YouTube. So it looks everything's the same. It looks like you guys found me. We're doing okay. So that's good. We got some people watching. Jumped over. Blackie just texted me now. Somebody text Blackie, tell him the storm's about over with. He's texting me because I posted on it. We had a line of storms blow up, and I scrambled and got my truck in the barn, got things put away and trash cans brought in, and it looked ominous, man. It was coming on fast and hard, and then it just went away. And now I've done everything I could. My air conditioner's sitting right here. It's shut off, but the rain was beating on it pretty loud. I didn't want to interfere with you, so I got towels on and everything like that, trying to keep the noise down. But we've got nothing out of this. I mean, there was another second band that come in about 40 minutes ago, I guess, and they, it's all over the news. My phone comes off from severe weather, blah, blah, blah. We've got nothing out of this. I was a little nervous going on live because of all the lightning strikes. I was watching the lightning strikes out of the storms. Don't want to be on my computer with lightning like that. Hey, Noah. So it's been just kind of busy day. And it brought out a good topic. I mean, we always talk, I had a couple good videos out, how to prepare for inside your house and stuff. But that's kind of tonight's topic, and I'm going to get to it eventually. Is because I want to show you some stuff that I've been working on. Number one thing on the venue is the bags are sold out. It says sold out on the website until we get more in. I'm still having guys order that. So pass the word, man, it's sold out. I'm still have to refund money because people are still getting in the website and ordering bags, which is a good thing. Don't get me wrong. I'm not complaining. I just, I want to get them out in a timely manner, and I don't want them to be, holding on to their money for a couple of weeks trying to get this back. That was one of the things. Number two is I'm still doing testing on a new knife. It's called the Lutz Flesher. I finally got me one in. We had one, then everything happened out there, everything shut down. I couldn't get steel for it. When I was down there, Jason's had Dan released the steel on it. You guys can see this. This is the Lutz Flesher. Okay, guys, if you see there's some things done on it, it's going to be on a pre-order list, like we did the last ones. This is in convex. The original one I thought would be better was super high Scandi. There's the original prototype. And this one didn't flesh that good. And I know Trapper Dan's on there. I got them beaver hides in there. This is what I wanted to use a knife on, guys. I'll give you a better look at it. Me and James Bender skin a beaver with this knife, with the Lutz skinner, and then we were fleshing it with this knife. And James Bender, he said that's the only knife that would flesh that hide. He was so impressed with it. So it's that's going to be on sale. I don't have a price on it yet, guys. I mean, it's still in prototype, but I want to get out to them hides. I want to thin them out and flesh them. Make sure I know what I'm talking about before I send this out. I think it'll work fine. I think I had problems with this grind. I mean, Dan went out of his way to make this grind for me, and it's just sad. So this is going to be sent up to my brother to make sheaths for him. When these come out, I know I sent my Lutz Skinner with the black Kydex sheaths. These will have none because the Kydex just too expensive to put on there just for a mailing. So you'll get one of these high dollar cardboard sheaths. And if you want to see, you're going to have to contact my brother for something like that. So just thought I'd throw that out there, man. Trapper Dan says looks great. Nice knife. Guys, they were called buffalo skinners or skinning knives back in the day. And what people don't understand about this knife, and this is the prototype, is you can see this knife. And you can buy this knife almost identical, except there's subtle differences. One, it's the nose. I still wanted this knife if that's the only thing you had that you could still run upside down and skin with. You can see that. I can still get in there. It's kind of a funky angle, but your handle's up. You can get in there. And yes, you can skin. Yes, this is a good meat processor. But you got to look at the history of this knife. And I actually called Blackie Thomas on this knife because I have this in the Green River. I have this in the other knives. And if you look at the subtle distance, you can't really see unless I have one. I should have got one down, but you can't see the difference on this knife. I know we're going to talk about storms and stuff here, but I just want to get this out to you guys. I can still skin with it with the point on the nose. I actually had this done right here. And if you look at my original skinning knives, this is how you hold the knife. You don't hold it like this. You hold it like this. It's a bounce thing. And when you're fleshing, and I'm getting ahead of the thing, it's called buffalo skinners. Well, the knife was not called a buffalo skinner. The people was called buffalo skinners. This was just their skinning knife. When they shot thousands of buffaloes, they did not take the hides off of them, then flesh the hides. It's called clean fleshing. So they use these in big, long strokes pulling that hide. See where my thumb's located at? And they just all the way down. And so while they were skinning, when they pulled the hide off the animal, it was ready to go. They already fleshed it. And that's the design of this knife. The number one thing I've seen in these classes, that in my trapping classes, people struggle with, is using the fleshing beam and a fleshing knife. It's very hard. It's a downward push. Remember, they didn't carry that fleshing beam and that draw knife out with them. They used their knives on that. And that's where this knife was designed for. Like I said, so different. Just putting this little finger choil in there just gives me the bounce. I was just flipping it. I mean, you don't squeeze this knife. You want it to rock. You just want to barely touch it. So that's what we're working on. And that's, like I said, that's the prototype. This one's going to my brother. They're identical knives except for grind. And I wanted this. I got to be really careful because I got these things razor sharp. But I just want to give you guys a sneak peek. See what you think about that. That was got I thought the handle was cracked when it comes in, but it's in the wood. It didn't matter. I was a prototype. I was going to beat it up anyway. Yes, it's got the Jeff White logo on there. That's the Scandi, which you won't find another one. This is a very high Scandi. So I'll give you a look at the other one. You can kind of see the difference in grinds here. Can you see that? And this is called a Scandi Vex. This is actually Dan Ferguson, which is Blue Dog Knives. That's kind of his modification. And at first, and actually Lutz Skinner's got it on there. And at first I didn't like it. Wasn't sure. I like convex, but then he said a Scandi Vex. That means he brings it up higher. And it does work. And he tried to talk me out of this and said, this is going to work better. I said, man, I need to be able to roll the edge on this knife. He was right. I should have listened to him. Don't you hate guys that are right? I mean, he's my knife maker, man. And he told me, so I had him make these up. So this is the only one I got, guys, of the Lutz Flesher. But you can see how that choil is. And, oh, I forgot to tell you, I rounded the back off. If you find these are very square in the back, and they get me right in the palm. See that curve? So there's subtle changes just to make you more efficient on the handle. So I ain't been reading my comments. Everybody cool about that? Everybody understand that little sneak preview I was going to get you on that. I'm pretty happy about it. It's working pretty good. So happy. Second thing we're going to talk about was all the multi-bags are sold out. I have one that's my personal one. It's actually inside out because I was drying it out. But thanks to you guys for buying them, man. I mean, they really helped me out. Love doing this. Love the design. Love everything about this bag. I shot the video. You guys have seen it. Hopefully seen it. Just catching guys up. One more thing I want to talk about before we get into the conversation is my wife loves Goodwill. Loves Goodwill. Can you see it? Right on, man. I think $4. 100% wool. Now, it's too small for me to wear, and it does have some moth holes in it. But, guys, when you find this, it's my new pair of mittens. This is my new hat, sleeping hat. All kinds of uses for this, guys. Just wanted to bring that back up. You know, I mean, that ain't a bad shirt. I would wear it, but it's a little small for me. So you guys can see it. But it does have some moth-eating holes in it. That's probably why they turned it in. But it's 100% wool, 100% Shetland, man, is what it says. I don't know, maybe it's Shetland pony. So that's cool. I mean, we're doing good. So tonight's discussion, you guys, I know we talked about storms in the past, about in your house and stuff, but I wanted to throw out my 2 cents because this storm blew up so fast on it. It got super hot today. I was outside today. It was pushing 90 degrees, 100% humidity. Then the sun, it rained this morning. Then the sun got out. Man, it was just, it sucked to be outside. So it got me thinking, and I know I turned on that, but I live in a town called Xenia, Ohio, which we've known for one of the biggest tornadoes ever hit. We've talked about that in the past too. And I forgot, I don't think we ever mentioned it, is what do we do in a fast? I mean, this storm blew up. Are we ready? You know, how fast does it take you long to go to the basement? Now, I know down south, you guys get hurricanes, stuff like that. They usually knows they're coming in, you know, but on tornadoes or a flash flood or, you know, just a supercell, you know. James said 100 degrees today at the range. That's crazy, man. It was cooking here, man. What I got to thinking about my 2 cents in this is I carry a weather radio down the basement at all times. There's also a shotgun down the basement all the time with plenty of ammo. We'll leave that at that. But the biggest thing, because my house has electric water heater and electric water pump, I have a well, is I think I told the story about this during the Xenia tornado. A good friend of mine, his sister drowned in the basement. The house was collapsed on her, but it broke the water lines. And it flooded and killed her and her kids. So that's a bad story, man. And that's why for years, you know, I taught my daughter, I said, as soon as the tornado sirens go off here, what do? Well, you pop the breaker, number one. Number two, when you go down the basement, there's a big valve that I painted red. Shut that valve off. That's the water to the house. You know, in case something didn't shut off the well pump and the house broke, that well pump will just pump water right into my basement. So, you know, my brother just got on there. He's working late today, so he just got home. But, you know, them's the pointers I wanted to get across is, you know, tell your kids, tell your wife, tell your spouse, whatever, where's the main breaker and shut it down before the storm hits. And where's the main water? Because if you're in the city, you can't, you know, you're always going to have pressure to the house. So you got to be able to label it, paint it red, say, hey, man, you got to shut this valve. And the other thing with them valves is you got to work them once a year, make sure they ain't froze open, especially them spin ones. So I mean, this storm had me bugged because it come up on me so fast. I was out there working. I was in here working, and I said, man, I got to get out and do some work out there because we knew it was going to rain today. But that storm come up on me so fast, and I just wanted to rehash. I know everybody lives everywhere else. I mean, I don't live in the desert. I don't live in Florida, you know, but I just wanted to just reminded me to say, man, we got to get this information out about labeling your electric box and where your water's at. So if a storm comes in, you can shut the water off. I mean, if you have a flash flood and it's coming, can you pull your breaker because water and electricity don't mix? Everybody with me on that? I don't mean to rattle on. I mean, I just thought that was a good point because that storm kind of caught me off guard. I mean, I was talking to my brother earlier today, and it's got a storm, man, because it was raining this morning, clouded up. Then the sun come out, and when the sun comes out, it's going to bring it up. And I said, they're going to throw some storms out. Like I said, I have weather radio on here. My phone went off. Severe thunderstorm warnings. It dissipated. We didn't get it. We just barely got clipped with this. This was all east of me. So, I mean, we got rain out of it and a few lightning strikes. So there you go. I just wanted to bring that up. You guys got any more pointers like that? What would you do when you have to hit the deck? Hit the deck. Let's go. We got to go. I mean, you ain't got time to run around for flashlights. I mean, during the 74 tornado in Xenia, people said they slammed the door. They seen it come and close the door and the roof blew off. So, I mean, one of my good friends, his brother, he was trying to film it with a camera, old Polaroid. He's trying to take pictures of it out his back patio. His brother grabbed him, throwed him down the basement steps, and when he slammed the door behind him, the whole roof left. So that's how much time you have. So do you guys, keep your flashlights in your safe, place like that? I know some of you guys ain't prone to tornadoes like I am. I mean, what about an earthquake? I mean, state of Ohio has had earthquakes before. I felt one. Probably not going to get no bigger ones like out in California or something, but I don't know. I just do you have a adequate firearm? Because the looters come out in a day or two. If your house is leveled, everything in your house is still here. Extra guns, extra food, water. Do you have a firearm that's down in my basement, because that's where I'd be during a tornado. We should have that set up like that. And God willing, we don't need to use it, but you understand. Jonathan, we just had 3 go through Wisconsin, lots of damage. I mean, these storms this time of year is kind of odd. We've had a weird weather pattern this year, but they can blow up like that. I mean, in 2000 or 2001, my daughter was in the tornado. That was a fall tornado in September. Very rare to have a tornado in September. But it was an F4, went through Xenia. So, it's kind of a weird weather thing. I have hurricane equipment, tornado supplies, but if it hits, we're gone. Why is that, James? You don't have a basement? Or I know a lot of people down south don't have basements. I mean, up here, there's a lot of places. The newer houses don't have much basements as the older house. All these old houses have basements. My neighbor's house is a newer house that don't have one. I've been through the hurricane with my dad. We drove down to Florida years and years ago after they had them 2 hurricanes just go through it. And that was my first hurricane damage I ever seen. And we were actually delivering FEMA trailers. That's what my dad did. He jumped on the bandwagon. We hauled FEMA trailers down there. And when we got there, we went right in the main heart where it hit. And the first thing come back to me is 74 Xenia tornado. That's what it looked like, just in even way bigger scale. No basement, dig 4 feet, hit water. That's bad, man. Sir Roar's lot. That was some storm we just had. I don't know where you're at, Sir Roger. Sir Roar. I a lot. I don't know where you're located at, man. I mean, we missed it. East of me, Jamestown, Hogg, and Cedarville got slammed with it. That's me, Jonathan. I'm on a hill. I still got to fix my drain going to the creek, but I'm on a hill, so flooding is probably, it'd take a lot for it to get me. Uh, uh, but yeah, when I went through that hurricane, I remember seeing the buildings, the roofs were gone, the block buildings were still up, and it was a chain of stores, and all the clothes were still in there on the hangers. And I said, man, that looks just like a tornado went through there. Little different storms, tornadoes usually don't last, 5-10 minutes here, and they're gone. Hurricanes could last hours and hours and hours and hours. And then one thing about a hurricane is the wind's blowing that way when it comes in, then it's blowing that way when it leaves, So the problem with tornadoes is they're so unpredictable. We're lucky to get, 1 to 2 minute warning. Hurricanes, I mean, they blow that up for a week before they get there. So that's why I was talking about being quick. Here I was thinking, man, this thing blew up. I want to get out there and put my truck in the barn. My buggy was in the spot. I had to move my buggy. I don't move fast. You guys know that. So I got the buggy in the garage, put the truck in the barn, picked up the ring, get the trash cans from out front. But, but there you go. If I didn't have my phone on me because I was outside, I'd have never known about it. And it blowed up on top of me. And it wasn't nothing tonight. It really wasn't nothing. It was, east of me. But there you go. They blew up that quick on me, But, a lot of people where I live have basements because of tornadoes we've had. Any other tips and tricks you guys use? I know we talk bug out bags and all this stuff and all that equipment. I just wanted to throw my 2 cents in on the, shutting the electric and water off. I don't know if I covered that too much. Huh. Which video is that, James? Why don't you tell us what video the title was on that? That we can watch it. Blackie's got like 900 videos or 800 videos out. So he's got a few. Been talked to him the last couple of days. He's been still putting out videos. He's doing a whole cooking series now, if you guys ain't familiar with that. Something to watch. I'm not a cook out there. I like easy peasy. And even when I was an able body, I didn't like doing dishes. So I try to do everything without messing any dishes up. So was it hard to get on YouTube, to watch this show? I was kind of curious. You just went to my YouTube channel and plugged in. I was kind of curious how it was for you guys to get on here. I hate this electronic stuff. Okay, so so any ideas you guys could think of, about I know we should be running our bug out pack in our car, but depending on the storm, I mean, if the house got leveled and the truck was still there, we still need a backup kit. How many people run in their kits in their vehicles? I mean, I do. It stays in my truck all the time. I got too much stuff in my truck, probably. Oh, cool. James said, easiest pod to get on. What's that, John? Just have to remind folks to go the video section to see what's on. See, I don't know how to do that. There's Tom. Hey, Tom. Remember, like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Let's help bring Facebook friends over to YouTube. There you go. That Dark Tari's Adventures, my brother, guys. Yeah, that's a good one. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to this channel. It'll, then you'll get the notification when I pull them up. I'll keep a bug out bag in the car, in the van, bus, on the house. Fully loaded, everything you need. Be loaded. I believe in being prepared everywhere you go. And it's kind of a funny sayings, man. If you got it, you'll never need it. It's just the way it is. Yeah, I keep an emergency kit in my car in case of weather emergency. Life, I'm stuck out in the winter. Yeah, Sir Rose. I'm just going to call you Sir, said that. Everybody know I work for the state of Ohio. I carried a duffel bag with me, throwed it in the truck every time I went out. I don't care if it's an easy storm going to last hours. I still carry it because you never know when you're going to get stuck. Hey, Thomas. Oh, this is Bo from Facebook. Oh, different name. Sweet. I'll mess that up for sure. I carry one on my belt bag. And everybody should. We should, we talk about kit mentality. And because of the state of Ohio, man, with 15 seasons we have is what I call it, your bug out bag's got to be equipped, but I don't want to get it so much into the bug out bags as much as, is the bag, one in the vehicle. I mean, how many vehicles do you drive? I mean, my wife's car, we keep her overalls and all her kit in the back year round. I never take it out. I mean, it's kind of funny to carry wool blankets and overalls in your car year round up here. But if I take it out, then we'll forget to put it back in. So it's just laid out really nice, folded on the floor. You put the groceries in, out of the way. So it's, Thomas is my real name. Bo is my nickname. Well, too bad it's Bo now. Now I'm going to get all messed up. But it was, you got Blackie Thomas's last name. But it was, so, I just wanted to rehash that because the storm kind of said, man, we got to be ready all the time. Tom says PA has the same 15 seasons. Yeah, it does. We have an ice season, a snow season, a freezing cold season, a colder season, a colder that season, mud season, a rain season. It's just crazy. And this year we've actually had some light weather. It's we're approaching August hard, and that's usually what we call dog days. I mean, I usually when I'm mowing grass, it's mowing dust just to knock down the taller weeds, which is plantain. Plantain brings that seed pod up, and it just gets tall. But you usually got to mow about every 7, 8, 9 days. Man, I've been mowing about every 4 or 5 days in this rain. We get just enough rain to keep me mowing. Don't worry, that's an Alabama thing. Yeah, you guys put your front name in the back and the back name in the front. But yeah, I just want to rehash it. I thought it'd be a good, nice discussion. I know we've been over this. I don't want to kick a dead horse on it either, but I just wanted to rehash it because that storm. So I've been just kind of kicking that around and thinking about that. Making sure everybody's out there. It's good to rehash this stuff every few months. To make sure everybody, man, I sold my car. Blackie just got, a Pathfinder vehicle. He's driving it. Is he ready? Did he switch all that stuff over from one car to the other? You know how we get. We got a new car. I'll lay this out here for now, and then we forget. I just want to make sure everybody's safe out there. And what kind of survival gear do you need? I mean, jack stands are nice. Is that a survival gear part of your kit, the jack stands? Wheel chalk. Is a wheel chalk, any good? Well, yeah, I saved a truck from going to a drink with wheel chalk. Mike Simmons. How you doing, Mike? Tools like a sledgehammer, axe, pick, bottle jack, etc. The basement in case the door is blocked. You guys self-extract from damaged building. You hit a good thing on that, Mike. You're right. A bottle jack or an axe, big pry bar if you can get to it, sledgehammer. You mentioned a lot. In case the door is blocked and debris, you're getting extract. Well, I said that during the Zine tornado. There were people trapped in their basements because when the house come down, man, it come down. It scattered everywhere, but they were locked in their basement. That's what saved them, but they couldn't get out. And now you're in town with natural gas. You want to fire up a chainsaw, be cutting through nails, you know, that might be a bad deal. I remember in 2000, I was on the rescue team on there, and we brought all our chainsaws out for the trees on the power lines. They pulled the power, but then they realized, stop, man, we got houses that are leveled natural gas. It might not be shut off. It was a good thing. So the chainsaw, would be tough on natural gas or even propane because it all settles to the bottom of the basement. So, I mean, a good silky saw, man, a good silky saw would be a good part of that kit in there. You want out. I wouldn't want to be trapped in that. Tom said he just, new car, just forgot her. Just forgot. Man, you guys are crazy. Sir, this is the greatest first live stream live actually type stuff in. Good deal. You're doing fine, man. My cat must have a big truck. No, he's talking about his basement, man. I got my wife got a new car and forgot her. That's just messed up. Last time I dropped off the wife like that, she made me mad. She cut across the field and beat me to the house, man. No, that didn't happen. I'm just saying. Wood split bushcraft. How you doing, brother? Keeps the food supply 48 hours and canned food and something in your safe spot for storms and bottled water. Correct. And I think, water's going to be a key. Why would the water be so important to you? Well, we all know hydration is that important to the human body. I mean, I run a Berkey water filter in this house. I talked my mom into doing that, which she's sick right now, so we don't need to pray for her. But because she says, well, man, bottles of water, a case of water, Walmart water, $25, $30, $50 a case. And I said, Mom, during a hurricane in Florida, there's plenty of water in the street. Dip it out, fill that Berkey up, and drink what you want. But you got to look at, man, I'm not a medical doctor, but after a traumatic event, your house just got leveled, everybody's cool, all your stuff's destroyed. The stress involved in 2000, I believe it was 2000, when my daughter was in that F4 tornado and it leveled the church. I remember running down the street and it was just like slow motion, a dream. And I could run back in like the wind. I remember a guy come out of nowhere and said, you can't go no farther. I blocked this road. And I talked to him at church like a week later. And he says, when I looked into your face, he says, you was going to kill me if I didn't get out of your way. He said, you never said a word. He said, you scared me to death. So, and then I heard my daughter scream and it buckled my knees. And then my nephew screamed. Now, why is the water so important? Because of shock, because of stress. Your mouth's hanging over. So how important is that water just to suck that down and get your body calmed down after a traumatic event like that? I don't know. I just know it would help on the stress. I keep 2 of them 5-gallon jugs from Wally World. Cool. Well, there you go. Bo said that. He lives in a heavily wooded area where the ground gets saturated. So his biggest fear is the trees coming down on his house. Well, man, do you have enough in your house? You're laying in your bedroom and you have a tree come in, pinch your door off. If it don't kill you, now you can't get to the front door. So he's in a same situation getting hit by a tornado, but different. Now he's got thousands of pounds on top of him. So, if you live through a traumatic event like that, or number one, you got to really calm down to focus. You start swinging something and there's electrical wires everywhere, you're in trouble. If you don't shut your power off or, you know what I'm saying? Because it's electrical. It's the water in your house, the gas in your house. Do you know where to shut your gas off? That's the other thing. Because I don't have gas in here, I run propane. I have a shut off my furnace to flip it. I didn't mention that earlier. But natural gas comes in when you guys live in town or close to town. So it's I never thought about that, having a tree fall in your house. We see it every year too. That's what's funny. Never thought of it. Yep, it expands the blood so the flow easier and kills thirst, and it's comfort. I believe that. I believe that. So down in your safe spot in your truck, in my truck, I carry bottles of water in there. They've been in there for, man, probably a year. I still drink them. They're hot, but it's still some kind of, I keep them in there for my dog when I run the dog. That way I can get her something. I usually set them up in the air conditioner, cool them down a little bit, and gives her some fresh drinking water, but you should have it in your truck. You should have water in your truck, in your basement, or wherever your safe spot is. I really believe that water's that way. Old style wiring and plumbing. I do too, Bo. My house is 121 years old. I still have knob and tube wiring in this house. A lot of it's been replaced, but there's still some of it. In fact, I was working on this air conditioner. When I bought this new air conditioner, I had to change out the plug. I called my brother. I shut down every breaker on that box. It's 220 air conditioner. I shut down every box in my breaker box. I shut down. I come in, put my multimeter in, it's still hot. I didn't know where that 220 shutoff was. It's down the basement. I went down the basement. There's a box right there with old screw-in fuses in there. I never knew that 220 was in there like that. Now, if I had a problem, I'm out here at the electrical box trying to shut it down, and I couldn't. So once I run it down, chased it, I found it. So this is the stuff. Now you got to do this in an emergency right now. So while we're refreshing tonight, you guys after the show, go down and look at your electrical boxes and make sure where everything's shut off, where your plumbing is, where your natural gas is. Mine's propane, something like that. Shut up, Tom. So I bought it new. How old do you think I am, Tom? Oh, that's messed up. That made me laugh. That's pretty good. True as salt. So you brought it brand new. Well, and that was it, Bo. I mean, I've lived here all my life. In 2000, it shut the town down because we have a bypass that goes around Xenia like this. The tornado come up this angle, shut the highway down here, pinched it off, and cut the corner of the town off. So the people from east couldn't get to the west, and the people from west couldn't get there because there's so much damage across. Main 35 goes right through town on our bypass, but it got both of them, and so everybody couldn't go towards Dayton, and everybody from Dayton could go through Xenia. So it shut us down. All the debris and the cars flipped on the highway and stuff like that. So it's amazing. Outdoors with Sean. How you doing, brother? So it gets you idea, you're stranded. One thing when in the 2000 tornado that I learned that there's a development out in the country. It's probably got maybe 30 homes out there. It's like a Platte being out in the country. And they got cut off from Xenia. They got houses destroyed. One guy I talked to, he was sleeping in his upstairs brand new house, and it shoved the top story off onto the ground. He was fine. And what was crazy is because it shut off all them country roads out there, nobody knew about them people. The cell phone towers went down. It hit a cell phone tower in Xenia. So the cell phone towers were shut off. I had communications because I'm running a CB radio that's converted to ham, which a ham radio converted to CB. And so that's how I was getting around town in my service truck by CB. That's another thing nobody talks about. And I know Fuel the Fire just had a graduating class on ham radio, but even a CB was getting me around town. But them people out there in that Platte were down for 2 days. Nobody thought to check on them. They couldn't get out there. And we had houses destroyed out there. Them people were on a full-blown self-rescue for 2 days before they could get any rescue. There's too many trees in the road and stuff, guys. So think about that. They're 2 days of rescue. Imagine this guy's bedroom is in his front yard. Well, where am I going to sleep tonight? The whole top of the house is gone. That tornado was not on the ground, but it took the top of the houses off. I remember I felt so bad for this guy on Wilberforce Clifton Road. He'd been working on this part of the woods, thinning out all the dead stuff, pretty woods, opened it up for camping. It'd be like a campground or whatever. And that tornado took every one of them trees out. It's a field now. It made me sick. I know he felt sick. Died because they were trapped in their homes and unprepared. Some of them died in the gas in their homes. So yeah, exactly, Bo. Just what Bo says. You guys can read that about being trapped in your house. I thought I'd just rehash this today, get us back on there because we've had some weird. We're getting weather like in our springtime up here right now. It's crazy, So just to rehash, I know if you guys are just joining this channel, that's great. I love it, guys. Please help out and subscribe, because I'm going through YouTube on this. I really appreciate that. But it's just a rehash. I call it getting the dust off the brain and thinking about that. I mean, just for example, Mike Simmons, we store a lot of stuff out in the garage, but what bottle jacks are cheap, guys. Cheap bottle gas, just in your house, just to lift something off of you. No matter how much adrenaline you got, unless you're superhuman, just to get something unpinned, would work. That's a great suggestion. I never thought about that, Mike. And I've got plenty of bottle jacks laying around here. They're not that expensive. So that's why you guys teach me. I'm not the expert in this room. You guys are. That's why I bring these questions up and keep these thought processes going. Oh man, we love flint and steel and stuff. Flint and steel is going to be no good with the house sitting on top of it. Yeah. Yeah, like Bo said, fall's coming. Time to get prepared. And you're right. And now we're going to be switching our kits over, guys. Jonathan Frisbee's on there. He can testify. Every year we go to Central Ohio Bushcraft. I get there. The day we get there, it's hot, 70, 80 degrees. And we'll get into a storm. In 3 days that I'm there, or 4 days that I'm there, I think it's 3 days, it seems we're right on the line in Ohio. And first year me and Randy went, we were sweating, cutting firewood, setting up. That night it was blowing snow. So if you're going to Central Ohio Bushcraft, and I encourage you to do that, be ready for cold. Jonathan was there. We got slammed in storms and rain last year, pouring down rain. And then it got cold. And so be prepared. If you guys don't know, next week I'll be down at James Bender's Waypoint Survival. I'm putting on about a 3-hour trapping class for him down there. It's going to be fun. He's got another guy in there who knows his stuff really good. I know it's short notice, but if you guys get a chance, man, you got to go. It's amazing. I went through Katrina. I knew all about being prepared, not being prepared about hurricanes. Went weeks without power. Had the chainsaw way into my neighbors that morning after. That's amazing, man. I mean, just to wake up and see the devastation, your brain during the 74 tornado, you drive through Xenia and the old markers, the houses and big, huge trees and all that was gone. It's like, I know where I'm at, but I don't know where I'm at. So the disorientation. My neighbor's kids is watching this. Jamie, you're texting me on my phone on my camera. Tell them to have fun. But that's good. That's my neighbors. They have a basement down there. So it's good for them to learn this stuff, what we're talking about, being ready for that. There's Rob. Hey, Rob. First aid kits. That's another one. You're especially, I mean, Trapper Dan's on there. He did a heck of a show on this. It was amazing on the tourniquet, how important, if a tree fell on your house and it did get a piece of you, trying to lift that wood off of you, are you going to have an open wound? Are you going to have that tourniquet handy? So do you need a small kit in your bedroom? I mean, you got one down the basement, but you got one in the bedroom. Because especially bleeding, guys, bleeding, I mean, Trapper Dan taught me so much in 2 hours on the show. About how important, loss of limb is one thing. I mean, you can live without an arm, but you can't live without the blood in you. So this is rehash. I do not personally have a first aid kit in the bedroom. Just dawned on me. Nope, got one right here behind me. But I'd have to come downstairs, or she'd have to come down and get them. New thoughts for the bedroom. Bedroom survival kit. I'm trying to catch up with you guys' comments. You're starting to thump me. Bo said that, found a surplus store that has military first aid kits, and that's what turned me on. If you can find a military, buy a couple of them, throw them in the bedroom. Throw them under, behind the couch, somewhere you can get access in the living room. I mean, bleeding is bad, man. I mean, this day and age, how many times I see on the news a car come into the guy's living room while he's watching the news? You're pinned under the car, and sometimes being pinned like that under a 2x4, you could be cut and not bleeding, or bleeding very little. When they lift the pressure off, you got to be ready to go. So something to think about that, man. And I love you guys. I really do. You guys' brains are thinking outside the box. Welcome to Abnormal Outdoors. I love it. It's I'm trying to catch up here. XD, I didn't catch that. Here in a place called Oxford, Alabama. Blackie's got a big supply. I wonder if that's the same supplier down by Blackie. I've been there. We go there every year. We go down to Blackie's. Man, I love that place. I could walk in there with $10,000 and walk out broke pretty easy. Probably own still more money. Sir says these are great tips. I believe using them. I'm going to use them. It makes us think about are we really prepared? New thought for the bedroom. Trapper Dan, keep the kit in the basement, separate one in the truck, bedroom, and something to consider. And bedroom or something. Well, Dan, I never thought about the bedroom, guys. I mean, we all talk tactical and stuff, but somebody comes in your house and you God forbid, you would get in a shooting with them, and you did take a hit, and say you put them down, but now you're in a bleeding, now you're hurt bad. Do you have a trauma kit in your bedroom? I never thought to put one in there, but wouldn't that where a confrontation come if somebody broke in your house? You're sleeping. Do you want to run all the way to your basement or out to your truck or even into your bedroom or bathroom and trying to get that stuff when it's handy? So good tip, man. That's a killer tip, man. And, I know Trapper Dan, he's got a really nice kit. I mean, if you guys look back on Facebook, you can find all these videos back about his presentation on his stuff. Amazing. I learned a lot from that. In fact, my kit has been adjusted because of Trapper Dan. Sorry about that. OD Green Army issue. That's cool. Is that store? Jonathan, ask him. I don't know. He'll have to find a link to that store. Jonathan, I have a lot of gear in my bedroom, but it's packed up in the closet. Time to move on to the top of the dresser for now. You're right, man. It's time for me to buy another daggone kit and put up in the bedroom. Houses often shift enough to jam the doors. Bottle jacks and 4x4s, you can spread the door frame enough to get the door open. There you go, man. You're right, because during an earthquake, where do they tell you to stand? In the door frames. Okay? But what happens when it shifts? It could jam that door just shut just as solid as that wall right there. I still got to go back to September 11th. Window washer, the guy was up there cleaning windows. He was collapsed in the building. Only thing he had was his window squeegee, but it was metal with a rubber squeegee. And he used it as a chisel to cut through drywall and steel 2x4s. And he was accounted by rescuing and saving a lot of people's lives by a window washer squeegee. What could he have had if he had a crowbar with him? Could he have saved more? Now, I'm not saying walk around with a crowbar all day, but Mike just hit it. Do you want, bottle jack down your basement or a big pry bar down your basement. Something to help you just, pick it off, So he's got a point there. Your doors could be jammed. Your bedroom door could be completely jammed shut with just a slight tornado going by, shifting your whole house. Yeah, you lived through it, but now you can't get out. But now the electrical lines got ripped off and it's catching your house on fire, and you need to go. Now I've got a window there. Bye, we out. But you understand my point. You can't go scenarios. There's a trillion scenarios trying to figure this out. That's why I think talking to you guys and Mike Simmons, the bottle jack. If I ask 1,000 bushcrafters out there, how many bottle jacks you store? They'd say, why? Because we always think about survival out in the woods, being lost, a float plane going down. We don't think about survival being in our own house. The store run at Blackie's Gathering is Coffin Splice at Samson. That's where we've been, Rob. I love that place. I don't know if he's talking about the same one or not. Sir says you definitely don't want to. He moved on me. Power lines and electric to your house during earthquakes too. Right, man. I mean, that's another one. Pole power. You can't stop the line out there, but you can have, if it's backfeed into your house, jerk that main breaker, know where it's at, and pull it. Same name right away. That's cool. We'll figure it out, Bo. But yeah, I know that the Kaufman's down there. I've talked to that lady from here, and it was kind of really funny because I ordered some. I forget what I ordered off of her, and I called her. Oh, it was my Long Johns, military Long Johns, and she was really, man, this lady's top line. She goes, Dan, wait a minute. Let me sell you the size. Let me adjust the size for you. Because I told her my size and everything. She said, you want a bigger top, but you want smaller bottoms. I said, what? She sent me a pair. Okay. She goes, if they don't fit, that way we know. As soon as they fit, I said, there's 7 days in a week. I need 7 pairs. And it was so funny because I was on the phone ordering. I just hung up. Blackie had walked in. And she goes, you here to pick up that stuff for Dan? And he just looked at her like, what? It was so ironic. He walked in. But she knows her stuff, knows where that stuff is in there. So when we have what do you call that? A place to go to get this stuff, we need to share that information. And, and she knows us by now. I mean, every time we go to Blackie's, 4, 5, 10 of us show up there. They make a lot of money off us, I guarantee it. But she was really helpful with my wife this year. We were down in Southern Alabama and the temperature dropped to nothing. And, my wife didn't have that kind of clothing. So we got her some, their Long Johns, got her military pants, got her a new set of boots. She was ready to go now, because I didn't think it was going to drop. I was taking her down there. It'll be warm down there. You love it. You get out cold weather. You get out Blackie. You be laying around the hammock in the heat, man. Boy, did I lie to her, man. Had nothing but storms and cold air. Where we at? Just, yeah, Bo. Put it on Facebook, Bo. And they ship too. Yeah, they do ship. But guys, if you call down there, tell them Blackie Thomas sent you, man. You know what I'm saying? Say, look, man, I talked to Blackie. I know she remembers me, but I don't think she knows my name. When I talk to her on the phone, she knows me. But yeah, just tell them Blackie sent you, man. That might help down the road. Well, there you go. Both of different size batteries. Yeah. How important would batteries be? The hurricanes down there, Xenia, during the 2000 tornado, you couldn't buy a battery in this town. They were gone. Walmart shut down, no power. Every store here was shut down. You couldn't go buy batteries. Cool, Jonathan. Thanks, man. But it's stuff like that we've got to talk about and keep this stuff hashed in people's brains. Like I said, it dawned on me today about, man, What other ideas? Okay, we've got the bedroom covered. Uh, it's personal preference which firearm you're going to use in your bedroom. Uh, but yeah, do you have your tourniquet in your kit? Do you have a good trauma kit? Never thought there'd be trauma, until we just got talking. A shooting could come from there. I mean, falling down the steps, hey, you're already downstairs. But it's because I do have a 2-story house, and if a tornado would shift the top of the house or take the top out, my wife's up there, so it would be a bad one. So what else do you think you would need in your bedroom, man? I mean, it's going to be hard to justify to your wife, well, I got I got a double bit axe in here and a bottle jack and a pry bar. It would be tough to justify. Mike's single. I guarantee he ain't going to have nobody to argue with. There you go. Both found it. Called Depot USA. They're online. Sweet. Sucks to get old, don't it, Bo? I can't remember nothing. But yeah, what else do you guys think we need? Like I said, we're not going to mention the firearms too much because that's individual taste and stuff. Second story house. How many people out there's got a ladder to get out of the house? In case fire. We all should have working smoke detectors, and that kind of reminded me. I need to double check that. But do you have a way to get out of your house? Do you have a rope to lower yourself out of the house with? I mean, is that a viable out? On a second story house? Johnson's towels would be good to have too. Well, that's good for the smoke to shut the smoke off to the door, or wet down to get out. Hey, a bottle jacket, clean wounds. Oh no. CO detectors, good one. CO detectors would be another one. We all talk smoke detectors. I do have a CO detector down here in my corn burner at my stove, right next to it. That way, if something goes wrong with it, I'll have it. It'll light me up at nighttime. My smoke detectors are right here in the hallway for where the smoke goes up. So that's good. But how many of you guys, honestly, you guys got to be honest on this. How many guys on second story houses carry a rope ladder? I don't. There's no rope upstairs. I figured I'd bust out the windows. My windows are big enough to walk through them. I can't jump off the roof. There's no way. I've already been damaged. So, yep, it's time to think about about putting a rope up there. How would you anchor the rope? Most beds don't even have a frame anymore. Would a doorknob hold you? If I, like my bedroom door, it opens up. Yeah, man, my doors are true heavy oak doors with steel knobs. You think a modern hollow door handle is going to tie off too? Are you going to have like a 2x4 under your bed with the rope tied to it for, when you're going out the window, it goes across your window frame to hold you in there? There you go. Fire extinguisher ready and available. I do have them in the kitchen. I don't have one upstairs. So it's how are you going to hook that? I know they make them escape ladders that hook on the window frame, and drop out. They're kind of pricey. A lot of people ain't going to drop $150 on a ladder to sit in your room. Well, there you go, Bo. When it floods here, we have troubles with snakes like crazy. Yeah, they're just trying to get up out of the water. They want dry land too. It'd be a bad one. Your house flooded, step out on the roof and it's full of rattlesnakes. That would be a bad day. I've never had to deal with that, Bo, so I don't know. I mean, maybe a good snake pole. Have a pretty nice snake pole out there. Snake poles are unique. You can get a grabber snake pole or just a handling snake pole. I run the grabber one because I was picking them up, trying to chase them out of people's houses. But what else? What else do you think? Come on, Trapper Dan. What do you think out there, man? What do you think? would be another viable. You think, would a bed sheet make a viable rope? Be hard. It'd take time to tie them together to get out. But are they really strong enough? You always see the guys on the prison breaks, using bed sheets and stuff like that. Is that a viable rope? Can it be used as a viable rope? And most bed sheets, how many? Oops, how many are you going to tie together to get out of there? Most blankets, I don't think would hold your weight. I don't know. I don't want to find out, but it would be viable. Just trying to think whatever else you would need out there. Communications. We didn't talk about that. Mike said could cut a hole through floor, drop down level. You're tall enough, do research. Not do research to reach it. I don't know, dude. These ceilings in this house are 9 foot. I'd still have to drop. But I wouldn't want to cut through this floor. This thing's solid oak. This house is built out of the lumber off the thing, and it's truly 2x4s and 2x6s, 2-inch by 6-inch, and they've been here 121 years. I think they're dry by now. Yeah, depending on the metal material of the sheet. Yeah, you're right. I mean, I don't want to be making makeshift in an emergency out of a thing. And I know you hate to say this, the rope that you buy at Walmart is not climbing rope. It's just rope. It'll say all of it, not for repelling, this tensile strength. I don't care. If it'll hold me and you can get out of the house, who cares what it is? I don't know if you ever tried to price climbing rope. It is not cheap, guys. But you can buy some decent rope and throw a bundle underneath your bed. One of the things that I talk a lot about in survival that I don't see, that's one of the items I never see hanging on guys' packs. My house pack is up there, and when I was able to walk all the time and go hiking, you always seen a bundle of rope around me. And they make a 750 paracord. It's really thick now. And I just put it on a carabiner on my pack. And it sounds funny, but I used to use that a lot deer hunt. Well, drag the deer back, yeah. Hang the deer up to gut it or skin it and stuff, and because we had a camp deer there. The third thing is, a lot of times where I was hunting was straight up and straight down. Guy'd go up the top, tie it off, and they give you the next guy to come up to go around the back side of the mountain when we were doing deer drives. But I just don't see that in the survival pack is 50 foot or 50 foot of rope. You can get a lot of stuff done to that. James Bender, Waypoint Survival, he's got a great story about carrying him rope. And I mean, this guy was going to die. He slid out on the glacier and he couldn't walk back up. And when they found him, this guy was in full blown panic mode. I don't want to tell the whole story, but they had a rope with him. There's no way this guy could get back up. Went out there too far on the glacier and slid right down to the bottom and could not get up. And I don't know the whole detail. I've listened to the story one time, but that we were talking about the rope, and you see Really Big Monkey, Dave Parson. He's always got rope with him. But really, how many guys you see on YouTube carrying a hank of 50 foot of, it doesn't have to be hot or repelling stuff, but rescue line. Somebody goes in the river. In my canoes, I store that throw bag. I make my own throw bags. I don't know if you guys are familiar with throw bag, but it's got a carabiner. You hook it to the canoe, you hook it to you, and the bag is the weight you throw out there. And that because the guy's going down the rapids, man, he needs a rope. But be honest with you guys, start looking at YouTube channels, and these guys are walking out in the woods, and not one of them's got a rope with them. They might have 50 foot of paracord. I don't know if you ever tried to hang on paracord or try to grab a hold of it while your hands are wet. It's going to be tough. Let me catch up here. There you go. Trapper Dan. Escape ladders, they sell next to the fire extinguisher and smoke detectors are cheap enough. I haven't priced one in years, man, to be honest with you. It's on our list. There you go. Bosa's only have a house on the ground, no basement. Time to change them so cheats thing. Why you guys got to go there, man? 55-gallon drum bags can be used as many different ways. Okay, Bo, will a 55-pound drum liner, which I have them out there, 55-gallon drum liner, not pounds, will it make could we tie it from corner to corner, lengthwise, and put series of knots down it? Would it hold, let's just say, average of 250 pounds? If you tied, say, took 3 drumliner bags, could it be made into a survival rope, like somebody going down a river? You're sitting on a tree trying to get them to grab a hold of. I don't know, guys. I don't know the answer to that. I don't know if it'd even be safe to even try it. But what I'm saying is, it's a thought. I mean, that's the next video. Will it hang? Would it hang 250 pounds? Would it be enough to pull a guy out of a ditch, or like on that? We all carrying drum liners in our bag. Something to think about. Can we make that into a improvised rope? I don't know. That's a good question. We need Blackie on there to make a video. But Blackie only weighs like 90 pounds. I put it on that hefty bag will stretch. But Bo, we're talking about that. That might be another improvised way. If you got 3 drum liners, can you get 10 feet? A lot of times self-rescue is 10 feet. Somebody's hanging over a cliff and they're holding on. It just give them something to, even if you couldn't pull them up, it would give them a sense of security until rescue got there. Give them something better to hang on that little limb or a rock ledge you're hanging on. Man, that's another one to think about. Whoa, big tip from Trapper Dan. Winner, chicken dinner on this one. The second story house is spare key attached to a glow stick to toss out the window for a rescuer. Yeah, because if not, he's going to bust it down to get in there, man. And it's going to take him time to bust it down. So good tip, man. Good tip there. Spare key on the headboard or next to the windowsill hanging up, pop that glow stick and out the door it goes. Great idea. Great idea. Love you guys, man. Love it. You guys are thinking now, we're getting that dust off them brains. Can't just use these for a hat rack, guys. I do. That's all it's good for, is a hat rack. Mule tape all the way. Yes, sir, James. I've got a big roll of stuff I sell at these events. I've got the heavier stuff. That mule tape is wicked. I do carry mule tape with me. I carry mule tape everywhere I go. It's in my truck. I used to buy it by the spools, the big. Most of the stuff you see it on YouTube is pretty thin stuff. Mine's like 1.25 inches. I forget the rating on it. It's like, man, it's way up there. Because I was an inspector, we seen a lot of mule tape being used pulling electrical. That's what they use to pull electric lines through the conduits. So they'd use it one time and throw it away. But it's usually covered in grease, so it's no good. So I did find out mule tape. I love mule tape. It just can't handle the abrasion. Good. If it's going across a metal object or something. Jonathan Frisbee, man, I got to get busy now. Remind me, Jonathan, I'll bring that spool up and I'll sell you some of that mule tape. I've got it. I've got probably 500 feet of it. Maybe 1,000. I think I got 1,000 feet of it. Bo, I've seen them. The magnetic key holders. The ones we had years and years ago, they rusted and they wasn't waterproof, so it fills your stuff up. There's other places to take your spare car key and take a piece of wire and hang it on there and wire it up. Yeah, it'll get dirty, but it'll still work. You could wrap it in a plastic bag, then wire it to there. I didn't like the magnetics because my trucks are off-road. They see tons of snow and mud get thrown up underneath them. So lost a few of magnetics. You can't, the old cars that we used to drive, like, I used to drive a 75 Ford F-250. You didn't have to get inside the truck to unlock the hood. So we would keep them under the hood. We kept everything under the hood. So it was something to think about, man. Barrels and mule tape. Yeah, I'll bring your barrels, man. Guys, if you guys want any more barrels, you can go into Central Ohio, them 30-gallon barrels. Call me because I'm running low on them. I'll get some more for the show. They're $30 a piece, totally waterproof. Excellent for canoes. Jonathan will testify. I closed the lid on them. I was down James Bender's, 5 inches of rain in a couple hours, and all my stuff stayed dry. Love them, man. Well worth the money. I got to get them and clean them up, and I sell them out front. I got one chained to my tree out front, and people stop by and get them. So something to think about. That's another thing. Them barrels will be down in your basement with all your bottle jack and everything in there. And, if your basement flood, nothing would get hurt. The mice ain't going to get to it, the dust, the spiders, whatever. So them barrels are really unique for down the basement. Yeah, but going back to that magnetic key, because, we can't open it up. If you got a truck bed, you could probably hang it on one of the inside loops inside the bed and nobody'd ever see it. Nobody'd pay attention it was there. But you have to find a place key. I think I mentioned that when I fell in on the white in the wintertime trapping, I fell in the water. I've told that story a bunch of times. I never have taken my key to the woods because I knew I'd lose it. When I got back, I was shivering so bad and I couldn't move my hands. And I'll tell you, these guys, I stick it underneath the back bumper. Don't go hunting, don't go out the woods with your truck keys. It's too easy to lose. They snag on something because I've got a deer antler fob on it. But I don't like taking it there. I mean, I've done a lot of trapping. I always kept my key underneath my bumper. Just sit it there and find a good spot. You put it on a Reese hitch. You can put it on the inside of the tire on the suspension. Just right inside. If you got a truck and it sits up, mine sits up really high. I mean, I can sit it right there and it'd be fine. And it'd take a lot for somebody to keep looking around your truck. But that was just an old habit of mine. The old trucks, like I said, they didn't have the inside hood releases. We carried, you'd take a piece of wire and hook your key in there. And you'd tuck it in behind like your windshield wiper box and nobody knew about it. My BMW, it's gone now. It had 2 keys. Them keys were $400 a piece for that BMW. But it come with a plastic key too. Plastic key was cool. I hung it underneath the tank on the bike by a piece of wire. And that way, if I ever lost my keys, that key will fire the bike up. So that's another little tip, man, JJ Johnson. Hey, JJ, how you doing, brother? But you know what I'm saying? So that key, is that a survival tool? Well, if the house is leveled, your truck key was hanging on next to the back door and the back door's gone. So can we go out to and use my spare key on my truck if it's hooked to another truck? Another great tip, man. That's what we've got. That's what we're here for. Is to keep your backup key in your vehicle. Yeah, your house is destroyed, but where's your keys at? We all take our keys out and throw them on the kitchen table or a bowl, or I've got a hanger on there. We hang them up, especially with having the girls we raised in here. Them girls lost their car keys. It was crazy. So I made this big hook. They each had a spot. That's where your car keys come in when you walk in. And just think, the house is on fire. You went out the front door. You can't get to the back door. Now your vehicle is stuck in there. You can't even use it to go to motel. So good tip there, guys. Well, let's see here. Storing pre-measured and pre-cut plywood and plastic for windows. There you go. I know down there at my mom's, it just reminded me, my mom's got hurricane shutters. They're stored in their garage. They're placed in on the building. You can't see where the hooks are, and they come out and put them on because of the hurricanes down there. Never thought about it being up here, but Bo, I'd say, yeah, I've seen some house fires and I've seen some truck fires that melted stuff that blew my mind. So I'm not saying it would, but I'm saying it probably could. Remember, the keys are brass, and most keys are brass or some kind of chrome over top of brass. But yeah, cutting the plywood and plastic for windows. That might be a good idea, to have them frames laying around, because if the windows were shattered, and man, Lord knows what the cost of plywood is today, but you could use plastic in a small frame, in an emergency to put that back in there. Huh. And because I know where Trapper Dan lives, he's in the same weather belt I'm at, and maybe your windows are leaking so bad, maybe you stick them from the outside, and that would give you, an extreme. We get another one of them, 21, 25 below zeros we've had in Ohio. We could double layer our windows with a frame, and heavy visqueen on. I know on this house, I do put plastic up on the windows in the wintertime because I'm open field. It slams me. 50 or more a sheet. Gee, it's ridiculous. Fire definitely can get hot enough to melt a key. That's from Trapper Dan. There you go. He's the guy. I would say, because I know steel, but the keys are not that strong. It was kind of a funny story because my son-in-law is down in the hospital. He's doing better, guys. I didn't update you, but they're moving him down for physical therapy on his brain, but he still suffers from headaches. But he's a little bit of time, brother. A little bit of time, man. I'm proud of him. He's fighting hard. But when I was down there, we were up on the, you drive up, park a car at the hospital, and me and my buddy was running around there down there years and years ago when we was all the way up the top of the parking center. I don't even remember what we was down there for. He goes, man, that's a long way down. And he said, drop your keys down there. I said, oh, yeah, I bet you I could. You run out and get them. So he run all the way down there, and I dropped them. And I bent my daggone ignition key. Boy, that was about a smooth move right there, buddy. I'm out there trying to pound it with a rock, getting a key for we could leave. Stupid, when you're young, doing stupid stuff. So I know that key will bend. I'm sorry, Dan. I was thinking more for storms. Yeah. Plywood for the riots. If we have a collapse, trying to protect your home during a riot would be tough. It would be tough. I think we would be better off to everybody group into one house or one area and protect it. Because one Molotov cocktail, your house is on fire. But the plywood would stop it from bouncing in the house. But it could, catch on there. So something to think about there. I never even thought about that. So it's Yeah, I try not to go with the with the bad scenarios on that, man. It sucks, man. Everybody watches the news. I got pretty mad about the news today, but we're not allowed to talk about it on this channel. That's the rules. This is to keep us from that crap going on out there. So, but yeah, I mean, it's a thought. I mean, I know plywood is a premium down there in Florida with the hurricanes because of looters. Okay, yeah, you just lost the roof off your house, but all your stuff is still in there. You're trying to put a tarp over it, keep it wet, but you got some windows blowed out. I know Florida, I know they stock a lot of that stuff for the windows. And it's not just for the weather, it's to keep the looters out. I mean, these people go crazy, man. When they get a free opportunity to go crazy, they go crazy. And so it's Bo says, I believe I've been watching on my phone. I forgot I had YouTube on. Well, go turn on the TV, Bo. Yeah, and you're right. The riots is a good point. I didn't think about it, Dan. And that's good to have your neighbors. Or I live out in the country, but I'm pretty close to the neighbor on the left right here, and I know my neighbor to the right. But do we have an emergency plan? When the power goes out at my house, which it did the other day, we get phone calls. Your power out. Your power out. Yeah, everybody's checking on everybody. But we haven't talked to another major tornado. If one of my neighbor's house would get leveled, are we ready to go over there and help them? Well, of course we are. We're going to chip in. But it's good to talk to your neighbors and said, what happens if? Do I got a place to go if my house caught fire? They're going to put me up for at least a night. Stuff like that. That makes you think. Well, you got to like your neighbors and you got to know your neighbors. And I, I believe we're Americans, and I believe deep down we'd all help each other out like that. I've seen it happen bunches of times during natural disaster. But it's something to discuss with your neighbors. That's a good point. To bring up a conversation with your neighbors next time you see them out mowing the grass. You got a place to go in case something would happen like that. I know during the 2000 tornado, I come back. I was running mobile truck repair service. I was on the rescue team. I come back, loaded up chainsaws and all my gear, but I stopped by my neighbors. There's no power. They shut down all the power around my area. So, and my neighbors are retired. And so I stopped in there, had my strobe lights on, had my flashlight, identify myself where they knew who pulled in their lot. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't just some walking up there in a black shirt and black hat, knocking on the door. Man, pull in there, make noise, leave your car run, beep your horn. Hey, man, it's me. You guys doing okay? Don't go up there. It was pitch dark here in Zane. So that, and I checked on them. I checked on up and down the street, even though that tornado didn't even come here. But because the power's off, we have elderly people, we want to check on. You don't know if they're on an oxygen machine or, some home diabetes machine, and maybe they need that, generator before you take it uptown. Just a thought. That's, man, touched on a lot. You're right, Bo. We're like that. I can't type. Come on, sir. You can do it. You're as bad as me, man. I got 14 fingers, it feels like. Let me catch up on some of these. Well, okay. Sir brings up the thing. Do you have any tips, lose your power? Number one, what I do out in my main freezer for all my food, I've lost it with a load of beer and a lot of game in there. What I've been doing, as I learned off Boss of Swamp, is fill up water bottles full of salt water. It freezes deeper. That's how I make ice cream. If you just freeze water, it's cold. When you add salt to it, layer the bottom of that refrigerator. You cannot believe he does a video, does a cheap Walmart cooler. I built it to the T. I can run with any high dollar cooler on the market. Usually I get a lot more time. It's because of salt water bottles inside my cooler. Now it's a downside because I can't drink that water. And you got to mark the bottle salt water. You do not want to let that melt and take a swig of it because it's a high concentration of salt. But it freezes a lot colder. The first time I used it, I put a layer of the bubble wrap over top and had my lunch meat and stuff I didn't want to freeze on top. And we were headed to Alabama, and we got in a truck to do a cheap lunch. That's how me and my wife roll. And the bologna was frozen. Well, it wasn't bologna. She don't eat bologna, but the lunch meat was frozen. That's how super cold. And this was out to the sun. This is outside the truck bed. So it gives you an idea. Look at the Boss of Swamp and use just store one area. And that way you can use it for your cooler or whatever. But that would keep your door shut. Don't open it unless you have to. But that would bring your freezer and maintain a lot well. That's my tip. What I'm getting behind here. Yeah, I did see that, James, on the governor passing them laws, and he did right. Bo says, Mike Simmons, 2 layers, 5/8 sheetrock has 1 hour fire resistance. Could build a poor man's fire safe box with 2 layers on the outside. Huh. I didn't know that. Mike Simmons, carpenter. Trapper Dan says a good utility pump and hose. Yeah. I've got pumps out there because, if it's an off grid situation, can I transfer gasoline? Can I transfer oil? Can I pump my basement out? I had to go buy a pump. I never had a water pump. Just bought a cheap one that pumped my basement. I'm still waiting. They'll be here Tuesday to assess the line and stuff. Who knows what that's going to cost me. But, I had to have a pump. I never had a pump down there because it's a gray water line to the creek, been there for 100 years. Who knows how long? But it's collapsed somewhere. I don't know why. 5 inches of rain soaked down the ground. Who knows what happened? But you're right, Dan. A utility pump. Hey, Mike, back to that. I had a question. To build like a room inside, or like if you was building a new house to double up your bedroom for fire or something like that. Is that where you're going with that? I don't know where he's going with that. It could be a poor man's fire safe box with 2 layers. Oh, I think I get you. Keeping supplies in that. Yeah, you can make a box out of that drywall. And would it save your supplies? After the fire, you got the fire out. Would you have an extra set of clothes in there? Stuff like that. I don't know. I'm not the expert on that either. You guys are. That's why I love talking to you guys, man. You guys just blow my mind with the tips and makes me think. Uh, After the shows, I usually rehash in my brain when I'm laying in bed, thinking about everything we do, what I need to improve on. I told you guys last week, a good person who wants to try to learn will look at their self and find the weak links and be honest on their weak links, and then find them weak links and improve on them. Navigation, it doesn't matter, flint and steel, bow drill. Yeah, we all talk about that, but what about, can you change the tire on your car? Have you changed the tire on your car? Yeah, I have plenty of times, but there's people out there that hasn't. Uh, do you know people how to siphon properly? Maybe you got a siphon hose, a good hose. I carry a siphon hose that's made for trucks in my truck. You can buy them. They got a little ball in the end of them, and you shake them back and forth, and it primes it to bring out. So maybe in a bad disaster or breakdown, there's going to be cars sitting on solid road gas line. Maybe you have to have some gas. Is a siphon hose worthy of? I'm not talking about storing it all in a bag, but you know what I'm saying. I carry mine in my truck. I've never run out of gas, but I do. Bo says, a flooded basement can be expensive. And what was messed up is the insurance wouldn't cover nothing down there because I didn't have that line insured. That's it, guys. Who would have thunk putting that line insured? The best part of it, the basement only had about 2 inches of water in there. I actually set my washers and dryers, my water heater, everything's sitting on blocks down there just for that same reason. Plus, I want the airflow underneath it. It's an old basement, it's an old root cellar. So there you go. And so I've talked to my insurance agent, and now we have that line insured. If you don't read everything on your insurance, and I checked it off, I checked it, and I didn't want it, and because I didn't think I had any lines going to the house. I was thinking sewer lines. We don't have sewer lines going to the house. So, long talk with my agent, put it that way. So anyhow, I'm waiting they're going to bring a camera out. And I've been waiting on the camera to go down in there and look. But there you go. I've got a mini disaster on my hand, and it's been there for 3 weeks now, almost a month. The first company never even showed up, guys. It's just crazy. These people just, whatever. They just lose money. But you don't need to get me started on that. But, yep, hide things in the fine print. You ain't lying. Let's get back to, what else do you think is a survival tool? Transportation would be a big thing. Now, we can talk scenarios all we want to. Off grid would be the worst. But during the 2000 tornado and the 74 tornado here, there was no cars moving. Motorcycles could get through town. My father-in-law took his Harley. He's got actual film of an hour after a tornado went through Xenia riding his Harley on her. So a motorcycle would be a practical idea, Yes, box protective valuables. When we were built apartments, bonding walls, 2-inch thick foundation sheetrock. There you go. That's what I was kind of going after, Mike, was, a box to protect valuables, And two, what did you say the burn time was at? I don't know what the burn time would be and what the temperature, the contents would be inside there, but hopefully there's a fire department putting your house down and it ain't going to take 2 hours to go through that. Well, that's amazing. Somebody's out there dumping some lead. They must be rich. The rich people are shooting guns because poor people can't. uh, Good idea, though, Mike. It's something to dwell on and something to think about. Uh, well, that's another one, sir. Yeah, cat litter is nothing but clay, guys. People don't really realize that, and it does give you traction to get out. Up here, we like carrying salt with us, and that's just for the sheer fact it will melt. Usually, you're sitting on ice if you're stuck, and it just gives you enough to go through. But yeah, kitty litter works good on ice too. Flares and glow sticks. I don't know, sir. You probably ain't seen my video on Abnormal Outdoors, where you're at right now. I have the fastest fire, and you can see how I adjusted the flare to make it burn a lot better, a lot more efficient, get a fire started. But flares are a big thing, man. I carry flares in my truck because of accidents. If you slide off the road in a snowstorm, they can't see you, man. Well, 1 hour before it burns through, that's good, Mike, because surely you'd have a fire department there before an hour, so that might hold up. Poe said he felt rich today. I stopped and put gas in my car. Man, you shelling out the greenbacks, brother. Yeah, it's actually come down just a hair, but it's ridiculous, man. But yeah, this thing's we need to experiment with and try. And I hate to tell you that, Mike, but maybe build a small box and build a nice fire and throw it in, and put an egg in there and see if it don't crack the egg or cook the egg or what. Hard boiled egg by drywall. I'm just saying, man. I mean, it would be a test. Lewis Ward, how you doing, man? We created a national siphon when we hooked up a pump system to 215 shower rotating. Some form of resiliency and redundancy for your water. Yeah, basically created a siphon when we hooked up our pump system for 12 to 15 shallow artesian well. And a natural siphon pump, there was a good video. I think Wrangle Star had it on there where he actually built it out of PVC, a transfer pump for these. And there's no moving parts, no electric or nothing. That fascinated me. But yeah, there you go. Natural siphons. So, like he says, I have a creek back here, but no electricity. My pump's off. I have no water. Now, I do have a generator out there, but, I'm going to have to use creek out there. So, is a siphon hose part of your, home survival kit? Well, I believe so. We were just talking about it, So, it's a good thing tonight, man. You guys go out home tonight or start making a mental list of what you need in your garage or your bedroom or whatever. I mean, definitely putting a survival kit, first aid kit in my bedroom. That really resonated inside there. I have siphon hoses. I have floor jacks. Because I was a mechanic for 21 years, I have a lot of this stuff. But yeah, it's something to think about. I mean, Lewis put up a good thing. Right there's just proof, shallow artesian well, don't have no electricity. I love watching Boss of the Swamp. I mean, he's living totally off grid. That well was hand dug for, 100 some years before he lived there. Every day he's got to go out and haul water, and he hauls it upstairs, puts it in a bucket or in a drum, and he feeds us water to the sink and stuff with that. Every day he hauls water in 5-gallon buckets. Yeah, it's a lot of work. I ain't gonna kid you, especially when it's cold and miserable or pouring down rain. But the thing is he's not relying on electricity for that, where we do. If I lose electricity, I lose my well pump. I have to fire up a generator just to turn my well on. So he's not, and he's using under his house. He's using that silverback bubble wrap, reflected, and he uses under his house as a root cellar. he keeps his apples and everything down there, man, all winter. Everybody says, "Oh, it's going to freeze. It don't hold it that." No, that bubble wrap does just enough to keep everything from freezing. So, interesting channel if you guys want to even learn more about that. As I really highly recommend Boston Swamp if you're not familiar with it. But it's pretty amazing to see, how he lives off grid and he loves it. We probably most people on this channel would love to do it, but in reality, no, he got wife, kids, cars, jobs, you know. Uh, so it's something to see that's what we need to do. The best size generator to keep in your house is I run a 5500 watt, which is just enough to run my well pump and my refrigerators. Other than that, the rest of this house, I've got enough gear in here. I've got hurricane lamps. Uh, I've got enough. Hurricane Ike come through here. I don't know what year it was. It was a bad hurricane down south. We got the winds off of it. I was pouring a bridge, 26-inch thick bridge deck pour. And we had such high winds it took our trees down. We were out power for 7 days. And I can remember going to work on the first day at Monday with no power. Everybody's been out for a weekend. I pull in off my motorcycle. I get out. I open my side box, pull my coffee cup out, close it, grab my lunch, throw it in my truck, walk in, go read my paper. My boss gets through. She goes, "Where did you get hot coffee at?" Huh? Well, number one, I own a grill that burns on wood. My grill don't have any gas. Number two, I have a drip coffee pot made by Lifetime. It's you put hot water in the top, boiled hot water. It's got steel filters in it. We do put a paper filter because of coffee ground finer today. But on the older coffee, it was a lot not as ground so bad. But you still don't have to have a paper filter. But then I had coffee. My generator, my well pump was in, so I could take a shower, and I could, we had lights in here from the hurricane lamps, and my freezers were still going. So if I wanted to cook, I went outside. It was summertime when this hit, or late spring. So I didn't miss a beat. My wife didn't miss a beat. All the electricity was down in Xenia. I mean, I still had to show up. The state of Ohio is all emergency generators for that reason. But I'm sorry, getting off track, but I wanted to tell you that. I was running 5,500 watts. I would rather see somewhere around 7,000 watts. And that's just because 55 to me seemed like it was driving it the whole time, even though we wasn't running a well pump, but you could hear it kick on. You know how a generator's running. But just to keep two refrigerator and freezer going, it's probably enough, 5,500. That's pretty much common standard. But if I'm going to buy a new one, I think I'd go 7,000 or somewhere. I don't know what size they are. That would be my point of view. There's guys out there, electricians, know more about that. Yeah, you got hit by a bad hurricane. And you guys are more prepared for hurricanes than we are. I mean, when I come up here, we got some rain and stuff, but we got like 60, 70 mile an hour winds. And it was kind of crazy. And you ain't going to believe this, but about a year earlier, DP&L, trying to save money like the fools they are, dropped all their contracts maybe about 2 or 3 years earlier now, of all the tree trimming. Boy, did they get some flack because them trees growed up and they just fell over everywhere. They wasn't maintaining it. They thought they was going to save some money. Then I kid them. Boy, you always see tree trimmers running around now. So you can imagine this whole town was shut down for 7 days. Well, everything was shut down around 7 days. Walmart was closed for 7 days. So you couldn't go shopping and buy extra stuff. Me and my wife, it was a hiccup, man. It was, the grill was out the back door. I can heat water for coffee, and we cooked on that. And, we sparingly took a shower, to keep from just driving the pump, But it was not that bad of an inconvenience. This house does have a cistern where I'm holding about 2,500 gallons of rainwater. Now, you don't want to drink that water. It comes off the roof and stuff. But it's okay to do laundry in there, to rinse stuff down with it, rinse your dishes out with it. So it was just a hiccup for us guys. Uh, I kind of pride myself on owning the whole house because of that. My gutters are built into my cistern. So kind of neat. Ending up brick church that night, strongest winds we ever seen. And you was in a brick house or a brick church. Man, if you notice, man, you go over to Wales and stuff, everything's built in stone, man. That's the way to build a house. JJ, I live in Northwest Alabama. Yeah, you guys are probably a lot used to it than us because I don't ever remember having a hurricane per se. We've got the rain off of them. When they're dissipating, we get heavy rains off of them. 20, 30 mile an hour winds maybe, but nothing like Ike. Ike was 60, 70 mile an hour winds, which we're not used to. I mean, we had 60 mile an hour winds the other day, and I'm dragging trees out here because of it. I'm not saying really nobody gets used to it, but you guys are more expected to see that than we are up here. So it's just something, man. It's been a good conversation tonight, man. I love you guys. I keep saying that because now I got all this stuff to think about on top of doing the rest of this stuff. But it opens our eyes, guys. If we don't have discussions like this, and you're into the survival, bushcraft, it don't matter, hunting, fishing, trapping, it doesn't matter. The more we can spread the knowledge, man, the better we all become, correct? I mean, I learn every week from you guys. I mean, I started this. The first show I did was 3 hours long. I was just rattling like I normally do. Uh, I backed it down to 2 hours, and I was so sick of what was going on out there, and I didn't, have a lot of people talk about what's the next knife, what's the next thing in bushcraft, what's the up and coming thing in bushcraft, where's the next event at. I really think this show helps out on that. Thanks, JJ. But we're like-minded people. I mean, the last two shows were on herbs, and I mean, there's people out there blow my mind how good they are on this. I talked to CJ. I thought he would be out there today. He said he texted me. He said, "Man, we need the storms, dude. His mushrooms, he eats mushrooms year round in Ohio. He can identify them and eat them, but they're shriveling up because we are lacking with all the rain we've had. It's still lacking. It's running off we don't get that good soaking rain. We get these major pop-up storms, dump a bunch and leave. It all runs off. So, that's why, so he was praying for more rain for his wild edible stuff. We've had 2 shows on wild edibles, and we covered about that much of it. So, I mean, we could have show after show after show. But today hit me, and I wanted to bring it back up just to keep the dust off our brains. We get complacent. We got jobs. We're busy. We're trying to do something. And then the storm stuck up on me. I thought, this is a good time to rehash, rehash these conversations. You don't have to apologize, Bo. Don't ever worry about it, dude. Everybody's got a life, man. Yes, sir, exactly. Live stream discussions are neat and interesting. Guys, it's a little bit of work on me to get this up and running and think what we're going to talk about. I mean, I can take suggestions. You guys got any other suggestions you want to bring up? It gives us a week to get on the internet, look at stuff. What did my grandpa do? What did your dad do? How did your mom cook this? You know what I'm saying? So, we can do that. Just if you got a suggestion what we want to talk about, let's do this. You know what I'm saying? Because I can't think of all the topics. I think during the week, how I come up with this stuff is like, I better be thinking about that. Just like this storm hit me today. I really didn't. I was thinking, man, what are we going to talk about? We did 2 wild edibles. But then that storm popped on me. I thought, good time to bring this up. Middle of summer, we're going into fall. And then we're going into snow country in the next 2 months, 3 months. I think all the topics we've covered in the last year. Guys, I've been doing this, Jonathan, for over a year. That's kind of blows my mind. It's about a year and a half. I started in the garage playing around. Hey, John, thanks, man. Jonathan, oh, when drugs naturally runs off of our land to help with the flooding. Oh, we dug natural runoffs. There you go. See you, James, man. Get your dinner. I told you, James, you need to start eating dinner before the show starts. I'm going to scold James because he's always leaving for dinner. You got to quit that, man. Eat earlier. I'll just mess with you, James. Have a ball with you on here, brother. You know that. But yeah, I mean, that's why I started the channel, because I got tired of watching the news and watching this stuff going on. Let's sit around and talk bushcraft, hunting, fishing, trapping. Let's talk boats and what boats you guys run for survival. You know, is a boat a survival tool? Well, if you live in a flooded place, I'd say it probably is. Is a boat a survival tool where we can creep out and sustain food, trap? It doesn't have to be a big, luxurious boat. I mean, I've got a 12-foot aluminum out there that I've welded to death. It was a trapping boat. And it was a trapping boat. It was built in 1965. I got that off my mentor. And so that boat's 56 years old. I've welded it like crazy, patched it up. Yeah, it's ugly, but it's been slid over rocks, over beaver dams. You know what I'm saying? So is a canoe or a boat like that a survival tool? Well, I can still row that aluminum boat, even though it's 12-footer, or that's 14-footer. But, but with a net and stuff like that, I can sustain that. So how valuable is that junk boat? It just seems like, thanks, Mike. Mike, I like talking to you, man. If you guys ever get a chance to meet Mike Simmons, man, and if you can pin him down long enough to talk to him, he's an idea man. Guarantee it. I'm not blowing smoke right now, guys. I'm dead serious. First time I ever met him, I knew it right off the bat. My wife feeds me while I'm watching. She makes some awesome cornbread. Well, you're going to have to bring me some cornbread because I'm a cornbread snob. Man, I've been wanting to try some jalapeno cornbread. I think that'd be good. I think that would really be good. But because my wife's gluten, I don't eat a lot of cornbread no more. Man, she used to make that iron skillet crusty. I mean, just not burn on the bottom, but golden brown. Slab of real butter on there. Gonna make me hungry, man. You shouldn't have brought that crap up. Bo, this is your fault. You make a fat man hungry. But yeah, man, I can imagine some jalapeno cornbread. Maybe a little bit of ghost pepper in there. Just a little bit. Don't need to blow your head off. Just a little bit of ghost pepper in that cornbread. I see what I'll be doing this week. Mexican cornbread. What is that, Bo? Is that just kicked up a little bit like we're talking about? I mean, how do we go from cutting out of basement holes in the cornbread? This is Abnormal Outdoors, boys. It goes like this. It weaves. It's crazy. What my brother says, it's the rabbit hole channel. We go anywhere. Spice cornbread. That sounds good, dude. I'm telling you, I think guys, I know I love my hot peppers, but if you grow ghost peppers, which I didn't do this year, I did Carolina Reapers last year. I don't like them as good as the ghost peppers. You got to smoke the ghost peppers. Once you smoke them, it's got a little kick to it, but the flavor releases just blows your mind. I should have grown some this year, but with all this editing and software and cameras, and I'm trying to learn everything, guys, at one time. It sucks. I knew I didn't have time. I've got 6 tomato plants out, some volunteer corn, some strawberries that come back on their own, and zucchini. I like my zucchini. Thomas, it's got cheese, jalapeno, corn peppers, and different spices. That's got to be good, man. That's got to be good. Going to make everybody hungry before you leave, Bo. But how you going to make cornbread with no electricity? Everybody out there ready? Can we do it on a grill? I've never tried it on my wood grill. Might be a video on that. We take for granted. I have electric oven. We take for granted the stuff that we bake, and it's easy to grow a fire, put a pot over top of it. Baking is a unique ordeal in a survival situation. It's a little bit more work. It's great, especially with stewed tomatoes. Daggone, man, I love them too. Uh, Daggone. But I like bean soup and cornbread. Dude, what a staple. The only thing I don't like about it is, man, I eat too much. It feels like you swallowed a cement block, man. You ain't hungry for 2 days. But I love it. But you know what I'm saying? I mean, baking is an art form. I'm gonna give Blackie Thomas a plug. His last 2 videos was talking head videos about the gear he's going to use and stuff. But he's going to start uh, his cooking channel, and Blackie can pull it off. I've been in camp with him and watched him making something out of nothing. He's one of them guys. He growed up, dirt poor, and he's used to making something out of nothing. So it's going to be an interesting channel. If you're not subscribed to Blackie Thomas on YouTube, I encourage you to do that, just for this cooking, thing. I mean, he's got 800 some videos out, guys. I mean, he's got a ton of knowledge. Don't know if you remember me, but I brought a double barrel wood stove off of me a few back. It worked out for you, John. I don't know if you remember me, but you bought a double barrel wood stove off me a few years back. I remember you, John. I still got it. It's in my trap shop, dude. I remember you, man. That's funny. Good to see you, man. I wouldn't know who you was. You had me stumped there for a while. I was like, double barrel wood stove. I'm thinking double barrel shotgun. What are you talking about? I remember you, man. Yeah, it's in my shop. I had to do some repairs on it. I got to get it fired back up. I'm going to put it in the barn or in the garage this year because I'll be shooting videos in the garage in the wintertime. I need better heat out there. I do have a homemade oil burn stove out there, but it's just not enough. I need a little bit bigger. So glad to see you again, man, or hear from you. There's cast iron things you can buy to put a fire and bake cornbread in. Yeah, oh yeah. Sue's. Hey, y'all come across this. I hear you talking about Blackie. Love his channel also. Good deal. You had a lot of knowledge. Blackie Thomas is about this tall to me, but he stands on a ton of knowledge. I mean, he's a Southern boy. He likes his stories too, man. We all like our stories, but his knowledge is actually very good. Yeah, I love cast iron watching Ket Rollins. I watched a lot of Ket Rollins, man. He knows his stuff. But baking in a survival, I mean, if we lost power for 7, 8 days, 2 weeks, you're gonna get tired of eating soup and canned goods and stuff like that. Baking is a little bit of natural art, man. I've seen a lot of stuff burn over the fires. We all have. Biscuits is one of them in cast iron. It's very hard to regulate, and it is a skill. Kent Rollins is very good at what he does. And am I good at that? No. I mean, Blackie Thomas, man, he makes one of the best biscuits in the world. So I mean, it's a good channel, See you, Jonathan, man. Be safe, buddy. Jonathan's bugging out. He's been up too long. Kent Crawler and looked delicious. Yeah, he did. I mean, he's but like I said, he's got a cooking channel coming out, and I'm going to be watching it because I learned that way. My downside is I don't move around good, so getting around a fire is a little leery for me because I don't bend over good. So I have to be careful with it. But I'm learning. One of my hardest challenges was to scale down into a single pot. You see a ton of videos of these guys cooking their cornbread in, the Morse Kohansky pot, and to scale down is tough because I've got all my cast iron gear. I've got my, bean pots out there and stuff. I understand the concept, but man, when you scale it down, trying to bake in that small pot, I mean, I've tried it, man. I'm really good at crisping it up really good where it's unedible. These don't have the cast iron to hold regulated heat. The stainless steel just zaps it, and I burn up a lot of things learning back away the heat. I'm really bad about too much fire on that. So it's going to be an interesting deal. It's going to be an interesting deal to watch Blackie do that. And I believe that's part of our, off grid or, survival situation is camp baking. Baking is a big thing. You can put a lot of food up. You can take a raccoon and bake him for hours when the work's done. Look at all that fat. It's all mass grease and fat. And it's all good. It's going to be nasty. You're going to need that grease and fat for your body. It's going to taste very good after not eating all day or 1 or 2 days. And a cast iron pot and knowing how to trap is going to be very good for the human body on consumption. I've said this before and I'll say it. Yes, the 4 threes are survival, 3 minutes without air, 3 hours without shelter, 3 days without water, 30 days without food. I'm going to have to disagree, man. United States, we're all calorie junkies. The majority are overweight. We're carrying way too weight, and we're not used to not eating for 2 or 3 days. You go 2 or 3 days out on an off-grid situation like that, the headaches and everything's going to be bothering you. If you have the skills to trap, I just see Camp Craft Outdoors is putting on a 1 day. You can sign up for it 1 day. I put on there interesting because I'm looking at my schedule of primitive trapping. I don't like primitive traps per se. That's why I carry so many steels with me, but it's good knowledge to have because if I did go down in a float plane or my boat wreck, I'm not going to have my steels with me. So, food, man, in 3 and 4 days, if you don't believe that scenario, don't eat for 3 days. See me next week and tell me how you felt the first 3 days. So, that's my little rant, my little thought behind that. Tom Bo, hope you come back to Duggar Mountain here. Man, I like to go back down there, but I got to watch my schedule this year. I mean, everything's starting to open up. I'm obligated to go to James Bender. I've turned down 2 shows since then because of the computer and the software and the cameras. I just got so much going on. I struggle with this stuff. I'm learning. So I would love. Duggar Mountain was a blast. I mean, it's always freezing cold and raining every time I went down there, but it was still fun, man. We had some bad weather last time I went down there. Mike Simmons, 50-50 mix of pancake batter and maple and brown sugar, instant oatmeal mix, hearty griddle cakes. There you go. Huh. There's your video right there. 50-50 mix of pancake batter. That's dry mix. Maple and brown sugar, which is dry. Instant oatmeal is dry. So all you're adding, what? Water? I mean, look at that. All them 3 ingredients that you can store in your package dry. That sounds good. But, man, what happens if you had a little bit of milk to go with that? Oh, man, that'd be a good hearty breakfast, get you through the day. And everything you mentioned is not that heavy in your pack. Or like I do, I mentioned them 30-gallon drums. You can store that by the load down your basement, by bulk. I have the aluminum containers too. They're like an old milk container, but I pick them up too. And they've just got a press on lid on them. But you ain't going to get no mice in there or nothing like that. And they're sealed, they're airtight. So that'd be a good survival tool. I do pack down there probably about 50 pounds of rice. I buy it when it's on sale. I don't eat rice because of the white in it. That's just me. I mean, I love rice, don't get me wrong. But that's one of them foods that'll store for a very long time. And rice is just boiling water and rice. And it's full of carbohydrates. What, Bo? Use coffee creamer in your oatmeal. I've never heard of that. I like my instant oatmeal. I do two packs of instant oatmeal, but I like my oatmeal like soup. A lot of guys like it like paste, and not me. I like it like soup. We're all different, but if you can put a slab of butter in there with it, we on, man. A little bit of honey on top of it. It's killer. That's what I use to flavor the instant oatmeal. They come flavored. Maple syrup one's the best ones, but I still put butter and honey in it. That's why I'm fat. But it's good, man. Especially, I don't like too much hot foods. We went down there to Jason's. It was hard to eat, man. I just wanted to eat cool food. Come wintertime, man, them soups and chicken soups and oatmeals like we're talking about, man, that's the time. Fall, man. You gotta have a jacket on and go outside. That's the time when I love it the best. Uh, French vanilla is good in oatmeal. Really? My wife drinks French vanilla cappuccinos. I can't really stand them things. I can't even stand to smell them. Not saying it's bad, Bo, but I just kind of, that's really odd for me. French vanilla in your oatmeal. I have to tell her about that because she eats a lot of oatmeal. She loves oatmeal. And she loves French vanilla. So, oh no. And if she likes it, Bo, and she's addicted to it, that's your fault, brother. Don't blame me for it. But she gets the French vanilla cappuccinos, man, from Tim Hortons. I mean, she'd live off them things. She just likes that flavor. Her and her mom talk about French vanilla cappuccino. Come on, her mom would come over the house just to have French vanilla cappuccino. It's crazy, man. I mean, I used to be a coffee snob, not anymore, man. But it's that's funny. Both I take full responsibility. You think as when she tries to get off of it, you got to deal with it. But no, it's just having fun. But yeah, I mean, we're all. It's so funny. We're all the same people here, all just different areas, different age groups, but we're all the same responsibility. But like I said, we're sharing taste now. We just did a whole 2 hours on survival, and guys, I'm over on time by 1 minute. So Jonathan bugged out. Ain't Jonathan the timekeeper, man? And he quit early on us. Hope he finishes watching this. We're gonna get on him pretty hard. Guys, I gotta switch over to my banners. You guys know, some of you don't know, but my ex-son-in-law, I mean, he's in the hospital with bad brain infection. You guys know at the end of this show, man, I always want to go over, remember, say prayers for all our first responders and frontline people. My son-in-law and my mom sick down in Florida. Prayers are easy to come by. It doesn't take 5 minutes to sit down and talk. I don't care about your religion. I just think the power of the prayer. Everybody hates a cop when he turns on the lights because you're speeding down the road, but he's also the first one to run into your burning car. You got to think about that, guys. I know the cops are getting a lot of bad names out there right now, man, but we still got to pray for them. Same with the fire department. Same with my wife. She's on the front line. She's dealing with a lot of sick people. I look at the doctors and nurses. I don't like a lot of doctors. I've been cut on too many times, but we still got to pray for them. So I love ending my show with that, guys. Give me 5 minutes before you go to bed. That's all I'm asking. I don't care what they are, but pray for your people, safety people, and everything like that. And I really appreciate every one of you being on this channel with me. It's sure fun, and I learned a ton tonight. So, guys, with that said, man, I'll get back to my comments here. Yeah, wow. Yeah, we was on 2 hours. That's crazy, guys. So I want to end that thanking every one of you guys. Do me a favor, because now I'm on YouTube. Please subscribe, like it, hit the thumbs up for me. This adds to my growth in YouTube. So if you guys can do that, and then share it. Share it on Facebook for me, guys. Pass the word. I would like to have 50 people on here. I mean, the more we can get in this group, guys, the better our knowledge is going to be, because we don't know who we're going to run into on this channel, and bring it up, man. So everybody, man, take care. Be safe. I will see you next. No. I'll be James Benner's Waypoint Survival next week, guys. So I won't have a show. If I can get cell phone, I'll jump on there Thursday night just to say hey and kind of show you where I'm at. But yeah, I'll be gone next weekend at Waypoint Survival. If you guys want to go, I know there's still some opening. It's quick notice, but it's middle down in Southern Ohio. So good. It'll be good. It's gonna be crazy. So guys, with that note, I know I'm running over. Thank you all again. You guys, I'll see you not next Thursday, but the Thursday after that. Everybody stay safe. We'll see you. Bye.